Welcome to today's video where we're going to be looking at semi-detached houses for sale in the postcode area of M21 in Manchester. So we've got a couple of other videos where we're looking at other property styles in this location, and I'll link to those in this video below as well. But this is simply looking at semi-detached houses using free tools like OnTheMarket, Zoopla and Rightmove. We've got some filters that we'll look at. We've got some search criteria that we'll look at. But ultimately, it's a case of how do you find the best buy-to-let opportunities that are in great condition, or maybe some properties that need some value add work doing to them as well. So straight off, we've got the location search. You can see the map here and the different pins. We're going to go to more filters and click on semi-detached first of all, because we want to narrow down the properties specifically to this property type. You can see here there's 44 properties that are semi-detached on the market for sale in M21 when we look at OnTheMarket.com. If we look at Zoopla.co.uk, we've got here filters. Again, location's already set. We're going to be adding in semi-detached houses, and we can see how many is on the market here. So we've got 36 there, and then do the same on Rightmove as well. And what we'll use here is 3 different portals. You can do this across any area. We're focused on M21 for this particular video, but you can do it in your area, your town, your city. You can choose your price range, number of bedrooms. You can add all different types of filters that are specific for you. I'm going to show you an overview that gives you the widest potential properties. So 29 property opportunities on Rightmove, 36 on Zoopla, and 44 on OnTheMarket. So interestingly, here we go here, wrong type. Let's take out terrace, let's go to semis, let's see if that changes it. Semi-detached houses, 56, makes a bit more sense. So 56 results for Rightmove, 36 and 44. So Rightmove has the most opportunities currently in this area. So we're going to focus on the Rightmove search, but I would recommend doing it across all portals because you'll find properties that aren't on Rightmove that are on the other portals. So it's worth making sure you don't miss any potential opportunities. So once we've got the search done in terms of the area, we've got the filters set. Next case of looking at the sort criteria, we're going to go to lowest price. So we're going to go low to high. You can see here the lowest semi-detached is 295, then 310, then 345. I'll ignore the one right at the top here, which is showing as a featured property premium listing. Sometimes you see it as sponsored listing as well. It's simply because you've got agents that are paying to have different properties in different positions. This property here fits all the criteria. It's in the right area. It's a semi-detached. It's the right price range, but it's currently showing 425 above these other properties. So for what we're trying to do, which is narrow down to specific outliers, really interesting property opportunities because of maybe the imagery stands out, the description, the headline, the price range, or if there's any tags that have been added recently, maybe the property's been recently reduced or had some sort of interesting tag added to it, then that's what we're looking for. But this one here jumps out for a different reason because it's a featured property and it's been paid for to go into that spot. So I'm just going to go down slightly. And then we can see here 295 is the starting point. So guide price, interesting. I like guide prices. A couple of reasons for that, but usually it's an indication that it's priced maybe more competitively because they're trying to attract interest. Doesn't mean they'll get the interest. If it's a really buoyant market, they will do, and that can push prices up. But if it's a quite quiet market, there's not much interest from buyers, guide prices can help to get things kick-started, but as a buyer, you can still pick up some nice opportunities there. Recently renovated throughout. It's being sold by an unconditional auction, even though it's gone through a refurb. That's interesting. It's added recently, but usually you'd see properties go to auction or unconditional online auction because they've not got, there's something maybe a bit more unusual to it. And that could be because it needs a lot of work doing to it. Rarely because it's gone through a recent refurbishment. So I would add that because I'm curious as to why that's going to auction. And then through your research, when you speak to the agent, for example, you might realize that it went on the market previously for a higher price. Maybe the seller situation's changed and they need a quick sale now. They weren't intending to sell. Maybe they were intending to live in it. They did a refurb to move in, but something's happened and they need to sell. So there's all kinds of genuine reasons why that might be the case, but it's the lowest price in our list. It's a guide price going to an unconditional auction and it's had a recent refurbishment. There's a few indicators there to me that would jump out as potentially interesting. Next up, we've got Nell Lane. in M21 in Manchester. Looking at these pictures, again, looks okay. More room there, really. That might be the picture. Looks like it could be okay sized dining room, but it does look small. Kitchen looks tidy. Bathroom looks good. Yeah, nothing major there jumping out in terms of work required. It's got a little bit of a garden, chain free, fantastic 4-bedroom. So 4 bedrooms are interesting. This one above is a 4-bedroom as well. This one, which is the featured property, is a 3-bedroom. Usually, when you're doing the search, you'll see 2-bedroom semis, 3-bedroom semi-detached houses at the top. To see a couple of 4-bedrooms, you don't usually see 4-bedroom properties in a given area. It's usually 3-bedroom semi-detached houses. So that would be interesting to add as well. We've got a reduced ticket here. So I'd look to add that for a combination of reasons. Looks like a really big size garden. Okay, so there's a couple of things about this property that I quite like. First of all, in terms of the work, doesn't look like it requires lots of work. Off-road parking, semi-detached, reduced, and it looks like this here is potentially a corner plot. So we're going back through the pictures here that we've already kind of seen. You've got this slip of a garden here, but then to the side of it, you've got this really large section of garden as well. That's really interesting from a planning perspective. It's not guaranteed, but if that was a corner plot, you've got the big garden size on the side, and doing something with that side of the house, separating the title and doing a new development there for a new property could be really interesting. So I'd definitely add that. So these types of things we're looking for initially in our first pass. We'd add them to the shortlist, and then we'd go through again in a bit more detail. We'd be calling the agent, we'd be doing a drive-by, we'd be looking at Google Maps and seeing if there's anything obvious from a bird's eye view of the property. All of these things can really help and be interesting to look at. So now you're looking at kind of going back to 2 beds. These are the more types of properties you'd usually see to start with in the list. Looks like a tidy enough property, 345 in terms of price range. Boldsworth Close in Chorlton, new build, semi, nice enough. There's nothing that massively jumps out. There's nothing that's massively unusual about the property, apart from these 2 above, which we've already saved as interesting for other reasons. This one is the next kind of lowest price of those properties that are semi-detached. It's an entry-level 2-bedroom, so good for a couple or maybe a very small family, like 1 main bedroom, 1 cot room, or 1 child's room can sometimes be the case. But if you're a growing family or you're looking for a larger family, you very often outgrow 2 bedrooms quite quickly. So you would see a more potentially transient type tenant profile, maybe rent for a period of time, but move on as the family grows. Whereas for these types of semis, I'd usually be looking for 3 bedrooms. So I'm going to ignore that one currently and look at the 3 bedrooms in the lists. So now we're up to 375 for 3 bedrooms. And in this area, when we did the terraced houses, that was a similar price range for some of the terrace houses. So if we can get a semi-detached house for 375 rather than terrace house, great. It might be that it's not in as good a location. Street, for example, might not be quite as good. But this one here, 3-bedroom, good looking style in terms of the pictures internally and externally, look tidy. Reduced a few months or so ago. I quite like that. I'd look to be adding that one and comparing it with some of the other properties that we've got in the list, both including terrace houses and also semi-detached houses. This one here, 3-bedroom, ex-council semi by the looks of it. These are usually really good room sizes, really good footprints in terms of garden sizes as well. And it's the lowest price one that we're kind of coming across on this list. It also had a reduction a couple of months or so ago. So it might be that it's not the best yield. It might be that we can't do lots to the property. But if you really want this area, the price range might be a better fit. Because as soon as you start going past like these £100,000 barriers, both financially and then also like emotionally, are quite big barriers. Somebody looking to pay 375 might not be able to go over 400,000. So as an entry point for that area, it could be a better property. And then straight away here, you're into properties that are over the 400,000 price range. So these could be great, but the rental yields are going to be much lower. The amount you get for renting this property, for example, compared to this one, assuming there's not some radical difference in terms of the area, is probably going to be the same. So you could buy the asset 420 or buy the asset at 375. This one's going to have a high yield, but for the same amount of rental income. So similar price ranges for these ones here, similar styles of properties, nothing really jumps out. I'm looking now for things within the imagery and the descriptions that are really different, unique, and that can include the style of the property. It could call out specifically to investors or landlords in the description, maybe because it's tenanted or needs some work doing to it or has some value add potential. It's a really good sized garden on that one, but it's quite long. Doesn't mean it looks like it might be narrow, but it's more kind of long. So I'm not sure, without looking too much into that property, if there's any scope to do anything with the garden. If we click on it, you can see here things like the floor plan. You've got scope to do things with the reception room here because it's a very long reception room. So you could maybe create 2 reception rooms if you wanted to. Not everybody wants to or needs to do that. A recent price reduction, but it's more really the garden that I'm curious to. And I think it's a great sized garden. It's a great nice family garden, but it's not necessarily going to add anything in terms of development potential. So I'll be leaving that one off. So now we're looking at a slightly different style of semi-detached. We've gone from some of the sort of 1930s, 1950s styles, might start now coming up to sort of Edwardian, Victorian, which can often be in more central streets. So as areas develop, the property styles develop and the locations develop and city centres develop, you'll tend to find certain styles of properties in groups. So these style of houses, for example, can often be more prime location, city centre location, good condition. Not much that we can kind of do to that. When you compare all the property types that we've looked at, 450 is top end of the price ranges. It's got 2 bathrooms, great. There's nothing though really jumping out from a landlord investor point of view. This one here, similar again, some good pictures, looks tidy enough. It's already had an extension. You can see here at the back, offers over 450, could be a great family home. Nothing though jumping out from a landlord investor point of view. And that might now start to be similar across the board. We've come into slightly different properties now though. These are likely over 3 or 4 stories. This one might even have a basement, ground floor, first floor, and sometimes an attic space that's large enough that's had a space for redevelopment. These styles of properties you can sometimes see as conversions into apartments as well. And depending upon the floor layout, so the staircase, the room layouts, you can sometimes get multiple apartments in these buildings. You can see here it's already called out in the description that it requires modernisation. Walking distance of Chorlton Village. This could be a really interesting one. Really nice room sizes by the looks of it. So this, as a refurbishment, might be a family home. It might not be one to buy, refurbish and rent out. It might be one to buy, refurbish and sell. It might even be one to do some sort of development on by splitting that property into apartments. So speaking to planning, speaking to architects, trying to understand what the development opportunities are for that one. I quite like that. I think that's an interesting one. I wouldn't worry too much about the price at this stage, although there's other 3-bedroom semi-detached. This is a different style of building and a different opportunity in terms of what you could do with it. This one here, nothing's really kind of jumping out. Same again. So it might be that we're going quite quickly now through these listings because there's nothing that's really outstanding. Really good sized garden on this one, but high guide price compared to the other properties that we're looking at. 4 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. So 3 4-bedrooms in these ones now. This one here requires work. It looks like some of the property is okay. It looks like some of it might require some sort of modernisation, but it's a really high guide price compared to some of the other ones that are 3-bed semis, similar ex-council style by the looks of it. So although this needs modernisation, for me, that price range is really off-putting, so I wouldn't be adding that one. Some nice houses now, but nothing really jumping out. You've got some really good-looking extensions at this sort of price range now, 550. This one here, full modernisation required, versus this one here, same price, semi-detached. This one's got 4 beds, it's 3 beds. This here is a different style of property. It might be that this location is much more sought after than this one, because this is a full refurb for the same price as a property that looks like it's had a very nice refurb. So I'm curious about that, rather than this one here. This is what looks like a ex-council style. Very difficult to do too much with that in terms of extensive developments. You might be able to do something if it's a corner plot. You might be able to do something if it's got a massive garden. Whereas this one here, it's a different style of building. It's a full refurbishment, and it's quite a high guide price compared to some of the properties. So I'm curious. I'm going to add that and look at that a bit later in terms of description. And when we look at the map version as well, it might be that type of property here, for a good condition property, same street for example, could be 700,000, 750. I won't know yet until we look at the kind of the maps, but that to me jumps out. Nothing really here standing out. Like, these could make brilliant rentals, I'm sure, but we're flying through them because the rental income for these compared to buying another 3-bedroom property in that area, even apartments, terrace houses, is much lower asset cost. So the rental return is going to be much more improved. This one's a very large property, high guide price, good condition. Maybe if you're looking for something as an extensive refurbishment, I don't know if you're going to be able to add the value with that as a property. It might already be priced in as that's just the value of those areas. This one here though, rare residential investment opportunity. So it's specifically calling out investment properties or landlords or owners. It's already at the higher end of all of the properties that we've looked at, 1.48 million. So why is it jumping out for investors? Looks good condition. And this might be why. So you can see here on this image, it's got a red outline for the plot. So maybe this property, although it's in great condition, although it's already top end of the price, here we go, and converted into 8 individual apartments arranged over basement. So this property is being sold as one building. It's split into 8 properties though, and it was refurbished in 2018, providing 2 apartments to each floor. You can see here a floor plan if you wanted to look at the detail a bit further. And the reason why it's calling out investors is because it's unlikely that a homeowner is going to buy that. 1, because of the budget. 2, because it's already split into apartments. So it's going to be an investor that wants to own a full building, what they call unbroken. So they have all of the apartments within the building, and it's already converted into those apartments. They look like good condition, no work required. So for a hands-off investor, it's toppy in terms of price for the area, but for a hands-off investor, that could be a really good fit. We'll add it to our list. It's got a very specific type of investor buyer. It's certainly not an entry-level property, but rather than buying 8 individual apartments across multiple areas for 150, 200,000 each, buying this one particular building could be a good fit for some investors, some landlords. So that's the first phase. So that's looking at the list view. Then we'd go on to map view, and this is to try and spot some outliers, maybe some properties below market value, comparing properties and pins next to each other. So we've done this before on other videos, so we'll be a bit quicker here than what we would have done on previous videos. I'll describe a little bit as we're going through still though. So you can see here 575, 475. If these were next to each other, that would be really interesting. There's a few streets apart though, so I don't think that's necessarily too close in terms of a value that really stands out. These are all significantly higher priced now, 700,000, 585, 550. So again, this one here, 825 for a 4-bed versus 585. If this here was closer to these properties, I'd be really interested in that. That's a really nice difference. But the distance between these and this one is similar. This one's 550, this one's 585. It might be that these areas of the town or the city versus these aren't quite as popular, and that certainly looks to be the case from the price ranges. These also look to be much greater in terms of style and size of the properties. There's a few pins here close to each other, so this could be interesting, and that's usually because it gives us a good idea, if we scroll in a bit further, a good idea of potential comparisons. So 650 for a 3-bed versus 500 for a 3-bed. Now, yes, it's a slightly different style, but that's a significant difference. 530, 525, 575. So this one to me looks really toppy on the price versus these other ones. I would be adding this one because of the difference in price, but it's quite close to these. Now, usually we're looking for a discount or a difference in price of around 10%. So if it's on the market for 500,000, 50,000, you're looking at properties at 450. If it's on the market for 525, you're looking at properties at a sort of 460-ish maybe. But that one there is massively different to there, but close to these. So to me, it's not enough of a discount to keep that in the kind of shortlist. But that's the reasons why we look to add or discount a property on that shortlist. 600,000, 475. That's interesting. Bit of a difference in terms of location. But I'll be looking certainly at these nearby to see if they're close to this 475 price. 595, 530, 545. Yeah. So to me, this one here, although it's a few streets off, looks like quite a nice price compared to the other ones. So I'll be adding that one. Because if you're a family looking to buy in the future in that area, that's much more kind of within the range of affordability than some of these other ones, 875 for example, or 595. These are similar prices, don't jump out quite as much. $425, $4,375, so 375,000 on Manley Road in Manchester M21 compared to, just move over the map, 425,000. Same street, similar style. So this one here, this lower price one here, if we hadn't already added it, I would be adding it. I quite like the price range of that one. 425, 650, that's a significant difference, but it's a bigger house. It's a 5-bedroom. So it looks like that one's, because it's similar style, looks like that one's maybe got a larger extension at the back. You can see that from these images here, but it's significantly higher in terms of the asset price as well. So probably not one for us in terms of this particular shortlist. And then coming to the end now, 530, 575. This one here, close by, but there's a quite a good difference. So then it's a case of, well, how are these priced? Are these 450, 440, okay, 440. They're similar prices. There's not enough of a difference there. You will get nuances between streets that are close by. We've got a couple of different streets here that high prices, low prices, but there's enough comparisons within each of the options for it to be too similar. You've got a few listings here by the looks of it. 2 properties in the same location, 375 and 430. So this one looks interesting. We've already added this one, which is good. If we hadn't, then I'll be looking to add that to the list as well and kind of adding that to the shortlist. And that's it for the map and the view, or the map and the list numbers. Next, we'd go to Zoopla or OnTheMarket and do the same search on there to try and identify if we've got all of the properties. So from what was 55 opportunities, if we go now to our shortlist, we've been building over the last couple of videos a shortlist of properties in this region. So properties for sale in M21, Manchester, we've got 27 opportunities. We had 11 apartments. We've got 9 terraces, I think it was. And we've got, so that's 20 in total. And then we've got 7 that we've added that are semi-detached houses. So we're now up to 27 opportunities in that area. And we're going to do another video just looking at detached houses as well. Hope that helps. Any questions, please let me know, and look forward to catching up with you in the next video. Take care.